the Parshias of Vayakhel and Pekudei, according to the usual rules of the Torah, seem very strange. The Torah is very meticulous to not say an extra word or an extra letter. If there's an extra vav in a word, the Gemara could learn many halachas and Jewish laws just from an extra letter. Why did Torah say the word this way? It could have said the word a shorter way. And the Torah uses very concise, lashon ktsara, short language. Which begs the question, because over here in the Parshas Vayakhel and Pekudei, they seem no more than just a repetition of the Parshas Truma and Tetzaveh. In Truma and Tetzaveh, Hashem commands Moshe to build the Mishkan, to build the Menorah, to build the Mizbeach, the altar, etc., etc., to build the priestly garments, the robes that the Kohanim would wear, etc. And in these parshas, the Parsha of Vayakhel this week and next week's Parsha of Pekudei, it just seems like a repeat saying, and the Jews did what Moshe commanded them. They built the menorah, they built the turbans, they collected all the material, and they built everything as God commanded Moses. But if that's all these parshas are about, why would I need over 200 psukim to express this point? Just cut these two parshas out and say one sentence, and the Jews did as Moses commanded them. What could be so important that the Torah is trying to tell us with 200 verses to literally repeat exactly everything that we had several parshas ago in Truma and Tetzaveh, and to repeat it with extra length in Vayakhel and Pekudei? And the lesson the Torah is giving over is a very fundamental lesson, definitely worth, again, who are we to say, but definitely worth spelling out with many extra psukim in order to get this point across to us, which is that there's two Mishkans. It says that there's two Jerusalems. You have Yerushalayim Shel Maila and Yerushalayim Shel Mata. We have the Beis HaMikdash Shel Maila. We have the Beis HaMikdash in heaven, which is aligned with the Beis HaMikdash down here. And there are two Mishkans. There are two tabernacles. The one in heaven and the one on earth. The Mishkan spoken about in Truma and Tetzaveh is not a grounded physical Mishkan. It is a tabernacle that is being discussed with divine energy by God to Moses, who is the most spiritual and most sublime of all human beings, on Har Sinai, on a mountain, disconnected from physical reality, the place literally where man met God, where Moshe was meeting Hashem, speaking about a spiritual theoretical Mishkan, about what such a thing should look like. In Vayakhel and Pekudei, in our Parshas, we're talking about a Mishkan built out of sweat and blood, collected money, metals, physical material, and the Mishkan of our Parshas is built out of physicality. And this represents two stages in life of how we go about our Judaism and how we go about our everything. We have the original plan, right? Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. I get inspired. I say my Judaism will look like this year. I'm going to take on this resolution. And I make all these big, ambitious, heavenly plans. Those are the plans of Truma and Tetzaveh. And then the way things actually pan out don't usually end up the way we'd like them to and the way we would plan it idealistically. In fact, maybe we could add that if you look at the Parshas, Truma and Tetzaveh, and then Vayakhel Pekudei, there's one Parsha in between. Kisisa, the Parsha of the sin of the golden calf. In Truma and Tetzaveh, we have the big plans, what we love things to look like, but then the tablets shatter, we sin, we fall somewhere, and now we spend Vayakhel Pekudei living out our lives. The mission of our life includes just picking up the fragmented pieces about what we really wanted things to look like originally. We had beautiful China, beautiful aristocratic plans. We made a mistake. They crashed. Somewhere along the line, we're not sure what happened, but now we're just picking up fragments and trying to make something of that to at least symbolize and echo and look a little bit like the Mishkan of Truma and Tetzaveh. And we ask ourselves sometimes, where is God? We imagine that Hashem, life is found in the plan A. But the Torah is spelling out with this amount of psukim and literally repeating these two parshas to tell us, no, we're not repeating. Vayakhel Pekudei is not a mere repeat of Truma and Tetzaveh, just after shattering and after brokenness and in brute, grounded, imperfect reality. The reason why we're repeating Vayakhel and Pekudei is because that's where God is found. Hashem is not found in the Mishkan of dreams. Hashem is found in the Mishkan of reality. Hashem isn't found in our plan A of what we'd like life to look like, but Hashem is found in our plan B of what we do with the way life actually looks, with the way we actually look. We might have planned certain destiny of ourselves and had certain plans about what we would want ourselves to look like, and then we realize we're dealing with a plan B. We don't necessarily look that way, our lot didn't end up aligning with what we wanted our lot to look like. And then we feel despondent, we feel sad, and we just start living on silent desperation that, okay, my plans didn't pan out, so let me just carry forward with what I have. But as a b'diavad, as a secondary, what we need to realize is that we're the Mishkan that God decided to dwell in is not the Mishkan of before Kisisa, not the Mishkan of the Tzaddik, the theoretical Mishkan built and being discussed with spiritual energy and vibes between man and God, but the Mishkan built out of sweat, blood, and metal by human, imperfect handiwork. And this is a lesson we all have to hold, that it's applicable in all of our lives, and God exists with us in our reality the way we're found, in our imperfections. Hashem isn't looking to dwell in perfect people. Hashem is looking to dwell in imperfect people that make mistakes, but they get back up, and they are wholeheartedly involved in their shlichus and doing what they need to do with life the way it actually is. I heard a beautiful, very powerful story one time regarding Rabbi Simon Jacobson. He was giving classes in Manhattan, I believe he still does, for Jews that don't know much about Torah mitzvahs. And one Jew came by who he says was very spiritually in tune, deep, with a special chen to him, but he had certain deformities, either physically and verbally. He wasn't able to speak properly. And one day after class, he came over to ask some questions, and they were speaking. He said, "Where are you from?" "I'm from Manhattan." "Your parents live here too?" "Yeah, but I never see my parents," says this boy. "They send me a big check every so often for me to live off the check, but it's been years since I've seen them." So Rabbi Simon tracked down this man's father, called him up and said, "Hey, I have your son. What a beautiful boy. He comes to our classes." And the moment he heard that he's dealing with his son, the father hung up. Rabbi Simon was stubborn, decided to call him back, said, "I think we got disconnected, but I have your son coming to my classes. I want to let you know he's such a special boy, and we enjoy having him." And the father said, "I don't think you got the message. I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear about it. Goodbye." And he hung up. He got the mother's number and called the mother. And the mother started crying on the phone and saying, "We can't go back there. When we gave birth to this son, our doctors advised that it's better to put him up for foster care. It's going to be too difficult to raise him. And it was a tough decision, and it's painful, but this is just the way it has to go." And at some point, Rabbi Jacobson either convinced her or got back on the phone with the father and said, "Your son would like to meet with you. Can we arrange a meeting?" And the father said, "Yes, but if you join." So they get the address. They pull up at this beautiful apartment building with going to the top penthouse overlooking Central Park. The parents were obviously very affluent, well-to-do Jews in the middle of Manhattan, part of the life of the party of the elite scene. And Simon Jacobson is in the elevator with his boy. They pull up at the top, a beautiful, beautiful home, set up with a basket of fruits, and the parents are sitting over there, and they're all sitting on the couch. Awkward. Trying to make small talk about the local sports teams. And at some point, Rabbi Jacobson got up and said that we came here for a purpose. We didn't come here for small talk, to reintroduce parents and child. And let's cut to the chase. At which point the son, in his broken speech, looks at his parents in the eye and says, "Mama and Papa, as you know and I know, I am imperfect. But after many years, I've realized now that you guys too are imperfect. I accept you with your imperfections. Will you accept me with mine?" At which points the parents broke down. They hugged their child. And Rabbi Jacobson says he realized that it was his time to leave, and he succeeded in uniting the family. Our relationships with each other don't exist in the way we would like them to look, but it exists with them in the way they practically are, within their imperfections and their humanness, and Hashem reflects the same way. Hashem doesn't want us in the way we'd like to be. Hashem meets us as a healthy parent, the way we are, with our imperfections, and that is a wholesome Judaism and a wholesome way of living within the plan B, within the way things actually are, gracefully and wholeheartedly. Have a great Shabbos.